What's the YouTube? Dale here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you my second place Dark World local profile. That's right, this was the deck that you guys voted for to be seen in some feature matches, so it was the deck that I was able to put together, change a few little elements, and I'll show you those and explain those as I go through it. And you'll also be able to see some of the duels that I was able to record at this weekend's local, so you can see the deck perform in action and some of the matchups I went through. In some matchups, I got very lucky. In some matchups, I got not so lucky. And that's pretty much the RNG factor of the Dark World deck and the strategy above it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the profile, talk you through what I've got. I'm also going to talk you through some changes that I'm going to make for the deck as well, as there were some things I included that I didn't think were necessary. And that really kind of came down to last minute changes and last minute kind of expectations for the environment. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe if you miss out on any more upcoming content. So starting off with the Dark World monsters, pretty standard on the lineup of 2 Grepher, 3 Rainbow, 3 Snow, 3 Genta, and then the card that put in actually a lot of work for me, and I know a lot of people don't even like this card, but this put in so much work for me, is the 1 gold. Like, I think I must have won out of 4 dice rolls. I ended up winning like 1 of them. So that's where silver comes into hand rip, but then gold put in so much work going second because not many people were expecting it. And then once gold was able to resolve, being able to pop 2 cards really did kind of mean that I was able to kind of control what my opponent was trying to set up and everything else in between. And the way you trigger it, of course, was with the 1 Cerule. Then for the normal summon of choice for the deck, I did go with 3 Kokimiru Guardian. Now, I still think that this is the best normal summon of the deck. I think I ended up seeing Droll used against me like 2 or 3 times over this entire weekend already. I still think it's the best option. I do feel that one of the other issues we have right now is with Mistaken Arrest. Now, Mistaken Arrest isn't as busted as Droll, because Droll just says you can't add regardless, but Mistaken Arrest still allows you to draw off the back of the Droll. It just means all the advantage you get off the back of your Dark Worlds when they're discarded becomes nothing. So it's something you can kind of navigate around a little bit. Luckily, I was able to kind of dodge Mistaken Arrest. I still feel that Kokimiru Guardian is the best normal summon. However, right at the last minute, I was contemplating utilizing Dominus Impulse in its place instead, because I wanted more go second option cards, or like cards if I didn't get to go first. Even then, like the normal summon of Kokimiru Guardian, like it actually put in a lot of work with me against a Blue Eyes matchup, because I was there, go, okay, cool, normal summon Kokimiru Guardian, and they opened up double Droll. So luckily I was able to go card destruction, get rid of the 2 Drolls before they were to activate one and then the other. It's also very good against Nibiru. There is a card in the side deck that I actually favoured a lot more and actually put in a lot more work for me, and I'll talk you through that when I get to it. Then the last of the monsters I was playing before we hit into the dangers for the hand traps was 2 Perulia and 2 Fluoros. Now the reason I went with a 2 and 2 is like usually you'd probably go 3 Fluoros, but I was highly expecting there to be a lot of Mitsurugis in the at the environment I was going to. So I was like, okay, well I have to kind of balance this out, and Perulia is better against them in my opinion, because with the Mitsurugis you can actually just go, right, well I've been hit with a Flua, I'm actually just going to go summon from the hand and ritual summon. So that's where the Perulia puts in a lot of work. There were times, and you'll see these throughout the duels, there's times where I saw these cards and they completely bookended me, like they did nothing for me. And then there's times where I saw them and people just took the challenge and I was able to draw into a lot of resource. So what I kind of went for is I went for cards that if I was going to go second, I wanted cards that will pretty much put my opponent on a bit more of a restraint and make them end on a suboptimal field, or basically give me as much advantage as possible, and that's why these 4 cards come into play. Going first, completely dead, really, really annoying, and I wish I could take them out before even, like, after the dice roll's already been concluded, but going second, they're nearly invaluable. So that's it for, like, the hand traps, the breaker, the normal summon, and the Dark Worlds. Moving on to the dangers. So for the dangers, I've gone with 2 Nessie, 2 Jackalope, 2 Mothman, and 1 Bigfoot with an honorary Salamander Catalyzer. Now, honestly, this is, for me personally, this is more than enough. I wouldn't want anything more than these. There were a couple of times where, like my dangers, and again, you'll see this, where they didn't resolve. Like, I would reveal a danger, it got discarded, I searched out another one, and then I did a reveal of a danger, and then it got hit again. You'll also see the other side of this, where I got hit with a Drow and Lockbird, but I was able to keep activating dangers until I got the discards of silvers and golds to give me enough monsters on the field for an OTK. There are pros, there are cons, you still need to play them, it's still the best version of the deck just because they trigger the Dark Worlds, but there are times where if you see multiples of these or too many dangers, it does become really, really annoying, which is why I feel 8 is pretty much the perfect amount for me anyway. Now to move on to the spells. So for the spells, 2 gates, I'm so happy with 2. I know people want to play 3, by all means play 3. 2 I am more than happy with, because what you got to remember is you go Genta, and straight away your opponent's going to go droll. And it's like, right, your gate's completely dead, you can't do anything. And there was a couple of times where I saw this, I saw multiple Gentas, like I'm happy with 2. Personally, happy with 2, they worked out. 1 Archives, 1 Accession, and then the card that actually put in a lot of work for me is the 1 Puppetry. So main deck in the Puppetry actually put in a lot of work. There was a duel against Regenesis Yugioh where I had to activate Puppetry as a way to target 3 cards in the graveyard, even though they weren't the most effective targets to kind of target. Activate those and then discard a card. In the Blue Eyes matchup, I was able to target 3 cards and discard a card, and when you're able to use this during your opponent's turn to maybe discard a Greffa, or use it during your turn to discard a Snow or a Silver, it actually put in a huge amount of work for me, and especially with a format right now where DD Crow puts in a bit of work because you target the Mitsurugi Ritual and you can banish that. I thought this card was a really, really good option, and I was more than happy to utilize it. For the other spells, I'm main decking True Tactics Thrust, and then I'm playing 3 power spell cards in the form of True Tactic Talents, Dark Corridor, and Card Destruction. Card Destruction actually put in a lot of work for me today already. Obviously, that is the luck of the draw. Like, if you see Card Destruction, happy days. If you don't see Card Destruction, cry a little bit. I do actually need to Google if there is a quarter century version of this. Someone said today jokingly that it might have a quarter century, and if it does, I need to get hold of it. Regardless, 1 Corridor, absolutely fine with, because again, usually with Corridor, you're going to activate this, and then the Dark World you're going to be adding, unless you're going to add Ceruli to discard the Ceruli because you already have Silver, you're probably going to be going for a Snow, or you're going to be going to like a Genta and discarding something else, so you're always walking into droll territory. Talents, this card's broken. Like, we know it's so busted, we know how powerful it is, it's the reason it's at 1, but in this deck, the fact that you can search it willingly, and the fact that you can make your opponent activate some monster effect, like the amount of times today, I was able to go Frost, and then go into Talents, and then activate Talents, and my opponent would be like, isn't this when I activate a monster effect? I'm like, yeah, I've given you Ceruli. Ceruli acts as if you're activating a monster effect. So, yeah, so much work, the reason that it is what it is. Now to move on to the extra deck. So, for the extra deck, 2 of the Greffa Dragon Overlord. Yeah, I think 2 is absolutely a necessity. Until we get a new Dark World fusion monster, which there was leaks a few months back, but nothing's ever come of those. There's been no identification as to where they're going to be, so they're probably fan favorite choices, but we do need like a generic theme that we can utilize, like a generic Dark World theme, so that we can constantly keep discarding cards, as this one requires Greffa, the other one requires Old Rainbow. I would very much like us to get a new one that requires like a Snow or a Genta or a Silver, a Gold. It'll probably end up being like a Lucian or like a really older Dark World card, maybe even like Baron would be pretty interesting. And then there's a couple of extra cards in here that I need to change, so I'll save them till the end, and then I can talk about them a little bit more. So for the XEs, I was going with 1 Baguska, never needed to summon it because I didn't get 2 level 4s on the board, even when I did get hand trapped, but there were a couple of times I was like, if I just made Baguska here, this would really cause my opponent a lot of issues. 1 Daguerres, I had to make this more times than I want to. You only really want to be using this as like an extender. And more times than not, when you do make this, you're probably in a bit of a bind that you need the draws and discards, so it's a bit of a weak spot for it. 1 Buzz King, this actually put in a lot of work for me. So this is a time con option because you get to destroy a card, and when you give your opponent Ceruli, you can destroy the Ceruli and then burn them for 50 life points, which is pretty much all it needs. Getting access to your opponent's extra deck, being able to take away their core card. Like in a Cyber Dragon matchup that I had, I took away their Clockwork Knight, which they needed to get to Clockwork Knight itself and then kind of fuse off the field. In a Mitsurugi Yugioh or the Mitsurugi Regenesis Yugioh version, there we go, I got rid of the Detonator. Like, it's just a really kind of cool option, and it's quite a nice aggressive option to help you burn damage as well. The final XEs is the 1 Typhon, just again in a matchup with the Cyber Dragons, they only had like 100 life points left or something, and I had to go top decked, normal summon the monster, and you'll see this in the duel later on. Make Typhon bounce and they had the Sky Striker Link 2 Azalea, which is really annoying because at the start of the damage set you banish a spell to destroy the monster, so I had to return it. And then I was able to get the last damage off. Moving on to the links, pretty standard on an SP Little Knight, a Cassette Magician, a Muckraker, and then I foolishly, right at the start, because I was making so many last minute changes, then I got the Dark Charmer. Mainly for this one is to revive a Dark and then go into SP. I only had to make it once, and it was only because I wanted to make a generic Link 2 that wasn't Muckraker to then utilize it later on, so I kind of went for that. Then for the Link 4s, I've got the 1 World Seas Dragons Atlantis, the 1 Skulldread, and the 1 Abour Q. I made these 2 the most. I never made Zelantis, so this is a card that can be sacrificed. And then for the last 2 cards, I played the 1 Access Code Talker and the 1 Chaos Angel. The Chaos Angel was like a last minute change because I was umming and ahhing about whether I wanted to play the Fiendsmith or not. And the access code is a card that you don't need to play. I was considering playing Celine. I took Celine out right before I started, but then completely forgot to take out the chains of the reason that I had Celine in there. And the two cards I'd massively change these for, and shout out to Rob on this one because he reminded me about them, is I would actually go for a small Unchained package. So I'd actually go for a Rage and a Yama in this particular lineup, because it's also very, very tricky to make a Chaos Angel. But funnily enough, in the Cyber Dragon matchup, I stole my opponent's Cyber Dragon, and I was able to use Cyber Dragon plus my Dark World Silver to make Chaos Angel. Only time it ever come up, so honestly, you would take these out and they're not mandatory. So that's it for the entire extra deck. Now to move on to the side deck. So for the side deck, because I was expecting a lot of Mitsurugis, I went with 3 DD Crow. I only never ended up facing them, and I've just remembered that I haven't even told you my matchups. So I ended up facing Blue Eyes, Regenesis Ryzeal, Cyber Dragon, and Yubel. So kind of like rogues as well, which is really weird. So never put in DD Crow. Like, I put it in once or twice, but never used it. Another card that I saw right at the last minute as I was putting my side deck together was Denko Sekka, and I was like, you know what? This could actually be quite good against the Mitsurugi strategy. Not so much the Ryzeal side, but it's more so like with prayers, because I'll just go, cool, draw phase, standby phase, main phase, normal summon Denko. And I was like, well, this is going to be better than Lava Golem, because if I use Lava Golem, I tribute them off. So normal summon Denko means that their prayers can't be used, it means their purification can't be used. Like, you're actually in a much better position with something like that. And I thought I'd try it out, but I never faced Mitsurugi, so I never put it in. The card that was an MVP was Salesband. Now, there was a couple of times where I'd put in Salesband and the Quackimiru Guardian, and the reason for that was, I was like, my opponent is going to want to draw me. And usually, if I ended up with both of them, I'd go normal summon the Quackimiru Guardian and then activate Salesband and call something else. So, like, I would call Nibiru. Like, I actually called Nibiru a couple of times. In the Regenesis matchup, I called Regenesis Sage. In the Ryzeal with the Regenesis, I could have called Detonator, which would have been really kind of cool. Because I wasn't playing many hand traps, I could have also arguably called like other cards as well. So if I felt that my next play would get hit with an Ash Blossom, I could call Ash. But more times than not, it was like call Droll, and that really stumped my opponent. And then it would be like call Nibiru. That's what I use these the most for, but I really like these. There'll be times where I'm like, right, well, I was considering Dominus Impulse, and if I considered Dominus Impulse, I'd put in Salesband, because Dominus Impulse clashes with Quackimiru Guardian. So that's what I would consider. But then I was like, what's better than having 3 ways of stop and draw? Let's go with 6 ways of stop and draw. So. And then just standard field breakers in 2 Lightning Storm and a Harpy's Feather Duster. And then, of course, these are going to be Trill Tactics thrust targets. So Eradicator, Different Dimension Ground, Mischief of the Gnomes, and then an Evenly Matched. Like, I actually hard opened up Evenly Matched and was kind of okay. I saw DDG once. DDG was pretty good. But, yeah, these are just targets for thrust. Honestly, you don't need to rely on these. You could see that there's no Lancia in here. And the reason there's no Lancia is because I wasn't expecting any Malice to turn up to locals. There was one Malice that did turn up. I was lucky enough to dodge them for the day, because they were on like some Malice Mitsurugi hybrid, which was like a crazy thing that I didn't even want to try and comprehend. But yeah, I got lucky that I was able to kind of dodge those. So that's it for the entire profile. A bit of an update for you. Like I said, there's a couple of cards I want to change in this. You'll see a couple of the videos and the duels and everything else in between. So you have a bit more of an understanding of how the deck operates, how it functions, and how I kind of piloted it. There's a couple of times, as I've mentioned, that you'll see I got extremely unlucky with some of my reveals. Then there'll be a couple of ways where you'll see how I was able to play Underdroll by being able to revive stuff from the graveyard. You'll see that there's ways where I was able to navigate around certain elements as well. So it puts in a lot of work. I really do enjoy the deck. I wanted to give it a run out this format, see how it could do, see how well it all stacked up. And you'll even see in one of the duels that I take the Perulia and the Fluolos challenge, and I'm still able to win that duel. So it does actually perform really well and put in a lot of effort. But then there are, of course, the natural weaknesses of the deck where if you do get drawled and you don't have anything else, you've got like a hand of cards that want to discard and draw. Yeah, it becomes a bit of an issue. Anyway, that's it for the entire video. Any questions at all, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe. And of course, happy dueling.